Will Pinterest ads work for you? Jana, that's what we're talking about today. And you're putting me in the hot seat. So,
Woohoo! Yes, I'm going to grill Heather, everybody. I'm going to grill Heather. Are you all ready? If anyone has been wondering about Pinterest ads, you've been kind of thinking, maybe Pinterest ads could work for me, my type of business. We're going to
mhm.
answer those questions today and help you know if it could be a good strategy for you. So let's talk about it. I love it.
Let's talk about it. I guess wherever you want to start, Jana, that's where we should start.
Yeah, why don't we do you want to talk a little bit about like your experience with ads? Like how did you start running ads? How did you discover Pinterest ads yourself?
Yeah. I actually was in the midst of 2019. I was traveling on the road and I had a referral come to me from another Pinterest pro, actually, and I cannot remember her name right now. But she referred me to this person for this particular subset. I think she'd seen me in Facebook groups talking about e-commerce.
Hmm.
And her name's Kimberly, actually. She sent me this client. This client had two clients. He had a marketing agency where they do like everything but Pinterest. So they brought me in and I started doing the organic marketing for these two e-commerce brands, physical e-commerce brands.
You don't have your headphones in. Is that okay?
Oh, I can put them in.
Do you want to? Your voice is just really echoey. I'm just thinking if it's easy, it might be good.
Yeah, let me do them. Let me do
Okay.
it.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Keep going. I know everyone's on the edge of
You know
their
what?
seats wanting to know what happened next.
Just realized my mic was behind my computer too, so that probably doesn't
Yeah.
help.
Oh, that's probably what it was. It's a lot better. Yeah, so much better. Going to be a lot easier for people to listen. So perfect.
So I started doing e-com Pinterest marketing in 2019 for these two physical product brands. And I just kind of fell in love with the results that I was getting at that time because that was when it was really good for e-commerce because there weren't very many people doing e-commerce on Pinterest just yet, especially with ads. So I started running their ads and they started performing really well. Almost out of the gate, the one green cleaning company was generating anywhere from like a 4 to a 6 ROAS immediately. And that's
Okay,
return on
so
ad spend for
two,
anyone
yeah.
wondering.
So two quick questions. One is you just said that it
Mhm.
was really good back then. Is it still good today? We're going to talk about it a little bit more, but like, is it worth doing still, do you think? Or
It's still
is it like
good.
the time has passed?
It's still good,
Okay.
but it's just like anything with Pinterest. The more
Or any
competition comes on,
platform.
yeah, the more competition comes on the platform, the more people are spending money. Bigger brands are advertising on there for e-commerce now. The market is definitely more competitive. And so what I said was right out of the gate, we got a 4 to 6 return on ad spend. I
Yep.
mean, right after launching their ads.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't see that as much anymore. It can take a few months of
Okay.
targeting and testing all
Okay,
of
and
the different
let's
creatives
pull
and
that
budgets.
out. Let's pull that out to ROAS,
Mhm.
ROAS. So that's return on ad spend. So anytime you say
Yep.
that now in this video, people who are listening who are new will understand that that's return on ad spend. Okay, keep
Yep.
going. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, so that's no, that's basically where I started. And then going into 2020, we obviously all know what happened in 2020. I got to Tucson, Arizona. We bought a house and I settled in, and my business just took off like a rocket ship, like towards the end of that year. I'd also,
Skyrocketed.
I know, I'd also started doing YouTube videos. So then by the end of 21, I was running anywhere from 12 to 15 different ads clients at one time.
My God.
I
Whoa.
know. I had help though. I wasn't
Yeah.
just doing it by myself.
Yep. Yep. I remember during the
So
Clubhouse era, you had a team member who was helping you run ads.
yeah, just until
Hmm.
last year, actually,
Hmm.
when I finally just didn't have any more, I didn't need the help anymore, basically, because I
Hmm.
didn't have that many ads clients. So
Right, because you don't have 15 now. You have just a small handful
no,
now, right? Just a couple, because I know you focused more
just a
on your
few.
membership. But just to be clear, you are including your own ads and then a couple of clients. You are running ads regularly for at least three or four people now, right?
Yeah, pretty consistently. I
Hmm.
have consulting clients that I consult on ads for.
Hmm.
I've got membership members that are running ads that I will assist with, with their stuff when they need help or need input.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I run my own and, you
And I
know,
think you said you have one client that you're really like managing their ads still too, right?
oh, yeah. And I have been for like since 21,
Hmm.
October of 21. We've been running ads since then. So, yeah, pretty consistently. It's a digital product seller. And then I consult with our friend Teresa on another ads account that's a physical product.
Hmm. Yep. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to decide where to start for people who are kind of new to the idea of ads. And then we're going to get around to basically like really answering like, will ads work for you? Like, what do you need to have around? But why don't we start by talking about like what the different types of ads are on Pinterest?
Yeah, so there's five main ad types these days, and a couple of them I've never really talked about running, and I used to and not actively discourage people from running them, but just pushed people into the other campaign types. So let me
Hmm.
just start at the top. There are in the awareness category. So there's three main objectives. And within the three main objectives, there's awareness is number one. So you can build
Hmm.
awareness for your brand. The way that these ads are billed are per view or per 1,000 people that see the ad. And you can
Hmm.
do brand awareness, which everyone probably has heard of that term. Video views, so you can run video ads and rack up video views and then build audiences off that. And then
Hmm.
video completion. That's a brand new ad type.
Okay.
That's the fifth. Then in the middle, we have consideration. So awareness is very much top of funnel. And
Hmm.
most everyone in our audience understands the concept of a funnel. At least I think they do. So top of funnel is awareness. Consideration is kind of in the middle. People are deciding what option to take before they actually make a purchase.
Hmm.
The only consideration campaign we have is consideration, and that's billed per click.
Okay.
So it's actually the cheapest way to run ads on Pinterest. And most often it's the first ad type I actually push people into because within consideration, you're still building an audience of people that are interested in your product. It might just take a little longer because we're only paying when someone clicks on the ad, even though
Hmm.
Pinterest is still serving the ad. So that's kind of where that awareness comes in.
Yep. I love that about Pinterest. We'll talk about that in a few minutes too.
Yep. And then the bottom of the funnel type of ad is conversion. So on
Hmm.
Facebook, the equivalent is purchase. That's what they call it.
Hmm.
So we run conversion campaigns in both catalog sales and conversion. And then there's this little interesting with catalog sales. It's very interesting. You can actually run consideration campaigns within catalog sales, and a lot of people don't know that.
Hmm. Okay.
So you can run consideration or conversion in catalog sales.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So we've got the awareness, consideration, and conversion, which basically goes along with what we know about funnels, right? The
Hmm.
awareness is like the top of the funnel, and then we narrow down. And then there's the five altogether. So there's like different subsets of each of the three, which basically turns into, so there's like five different ways you can kind of go about running your ads. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
So you mentioned something about how they call them purchase ads on Facebook versus conversion ads on Pinterest. So I want to ask a question that I know I get a lot when people ask me questions about Pinterest ads. And by the way, my answer is always like, I don't know. Let's go ask Heather because I don't run Pinterest ads.
Yeah.
Um, and I learned a little bit about it, but you're the pro. So how would you compare and contrast Pinterest and Facebook ads? Because some people have experience running Facebook ads, but they don't have experience running Pinterest ads, and they wonder how they're similar, how they're different. And if you want to kind of like get into like why certain people might consider Pinterest instead of Facebook or Facebook instead of Pinterest, I'd be curious about that. But let's just compare and contrast them.
Yeah. So on Facebook, a lot of people are running ads in hopes to get a quick sale, like quick conversions. A lot of the audience on Facebook are very much engrossed in, I need it now and I want it right now. Whereas on Pinterest, the people are really planning. So the differences in the audiences are really important to take note of. So on Facebook, you have those fast drive-by buyers. I can't remember what the term is now, which
Mhm.
is why I'm calling them that.
Okay.
It's like going through the McDonald's drive-through, that kind of example I often give.
Mhm.
Whereas
Like
on
you drive through
Pinterest,
because you know you want something. It's not like you're
yeah,
gonna like go through the drive through and be like, I might get something, right? Like you
yeah,
definitely know you're gonna get something if you're in that drive through lane.
impulse. That's what I
Yeah.
was trying to think of.
Oh,
Impulse
okay.
buyers.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
people on Facebook are there and Instagram. They're
Hmm.
there looking for family and friends posts, you know, things that they can light on fire because they're wanting to argue with their uncles, or on Facebook or on Instagram. You're just scrolling through your business feed or like engaging within your community or whatever. It's very
Hmm.
community driven.
Hmm.
Whereas on Pinterest, there's really not a community aspect. I mean,
It's me time,
people are
right?
going to try say there is, but there's really not. It's me time. We're planning. Some people have joked around that their family members followed them on Pinterest and they found out they were pregnant because they were pinning baby content before they announced their
That happened,
pregnancy.
yes. That happened to me with a client, a Pinterest client years ago. I remember I saw her secret boards and I was like, I was like literally the first person to know because she had secret boards and she was pinning about baby stuff. So funny. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so on
Mhm.
Pinterest, the pinners are
We're planning ahead for these things
they're
that we know we want to do.
actively
And right. Mhm.
planning and engaging in moments in their lives that are happening right now, but also in the future.
Yep.
So that's where the platforms are not apples to apples. They are
Hmm.
definitely apples to oranges, and you can use them for different purposes
Makes sense.
in your
Yep.
ad strategy.
Yeah. So what would make somebody think, okay, I might run Pinterest ads instead of Facebook ads, or I'm doing well with Facebook ads. I might like redirect some of my money to Pinterest ads for a little while and see if they work. Like, why Pinterest?
Why Pinterest? That's a really good question. So in a lot of cases, the way that I answer this question for clients um, your first of all, is your audience on Pinterest and do you know that they're there?
Hmm.
And if you do know that they are there, there's a potential that you could diversify your ad spend and diversify your audience at the same time. So
Hmm.
Pinterest pinners may not even follow you on Facebook or see your Facebook ads
Hmm.
because they may not be engaging in those interests that you're targeting on Facebook.
Hmm.
And if they're not on your email list, there's just like a whole nother pool of people that could be on Pinterest that's totally different.
Right.
That's one reason.
That makes sense.
Another reason is if you are running meta ads of any kind, so Facebook or Instagram ads,
Hmm.
you could potentially do some retargeting on Pinterest
I was
and
just going to
just
ask
run
you if they can,
retargeting.
yeah, like work together. Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Explain that to people.
Yeah. So if your audience is over on Facebook and they've engaged with your ads or your website or offers in any way, and you've pixeled them with that Facebook pixel and your Pinterest pixel is also on your website, that Pinterest pixel is also picking them up.
Hmm.
Even though they didn't come from Pinterest, that pixel is still gathering data on them.
Hmm.
So then when they are on Pinterest and they are in your ads because they visited your website and you're retargeting them,
Hmm.
if they didn't engage with your ads the first time on Facebook, maybe something else triggered it for them when they saw the Pinterest ad.
Hmm. So from the customer journey perspective, it's kind of like someone found you because of a Facebook ad, but they didn't buy. And then later on, because they've already been to your website and the Pinterest pixel kind of like noticed them while they were there. They later on when they're on Pinterest, they could see your ad on Pinterest essentially. So it's kind of like the two are working together. Is that
Yeah.
accurate to say? Okay. Okay. Just trying to like put it
Yes.
in layman's terms because that's what I need.
Yes.
That's what I need to understand ads. Okay.
So the great part about this journey, if you will,
Hmm.
is that it may have been the wrong time, it may have been the wrong messaging, it may have been the wrong offer. Maybe they
Hmm.
forgot that they added something to their cart, and now you're covering your bases on other platforms with those retargeting ads, and
Yeah.
and now you've brought them back.
Yeah.
So
Really
your
good.
overall profit margins might be slightly lower because you are paying for that Facebook ad and you're paying for that Pinterest
Hmm.
ad, and
Yep.
you paid for two entry points into the ads before you ultimately spit them out as a return on ad spend on the other end.
Hmm.
But in most cases, it's a good deal for my clients at least.
Okay. So that brings me to another question. I've heard people say that Pinterest ads are cheaper or less expensive than Facebook ads. I feel like that might be kind of a broad generalization. Do you think that
It's
that's accurate or?
I don't know that it's accurate actually. In
Hmm.
a lot of cases, I will actually see Pinterest ads be slightly more costly.
Hmm.
And I don't want to scare anyone away from Pinterest ads in
Give it a
general, but
shot. Hmm.
you have to think it through based on how many people are you funneling into your business that aren't converting already. So if you look at it from that angle and you're doing the math on all the people that are coming in that you're spending ads on Facebook that didn't convert, and then so you basically have to take all the profit from the ones that you did get to convert and spread it over all of your ads, right? So your ads could have potentially been more profitable if you were more targeted
Hmm.
in
Okay.
who you were looking to sell to. And that's where some niches on Pinterest, it might cost more to get those sales and those leads, but they're more ready to buy and they could potentially be a better fit.
Hmm. So, like anything, right? It really is about giving it
There's
a
so much,
shot and seeing what you're paying cost per lead, cost per conversion, things like that. It's like there isn't really, you can't say for sure that like across the board it's going to be less expensive or more expensive. It just depends on what you can accomplish by choosing your targeting and choosing your creative and like optimizing. Um,
yes.
okay. So that brings me to a question just about, it kind of is about ads in general, but we'll talk about it in the context of Pinterest ads, which is like a lot of people think like, okay, how fast will I make money on these? So my understanding is that, running ads is a process.
Yeah.
There's kind of like two reasons you would run ads, right? One is that you already have something that's converting organically and you want to like pour fuel on that fire to make that fire bigger. So it's like that would be one reason. And then another reason is to get data and to experiment and to find what works. And in the beginning, you're really kind of doing that latter thing, right? You're experimenting, you're finding what works. And then once you figure out the combination, you can optimize and then pour fuel on the fire. But how do you generally answer that question for people? Because I know a lot of people watching this are probably thinking, how fast am I going to make money on these? How do you usually describe that to people? Nope. Are you?
Sorry, I needed to blow my nose.
Oh,
Um,
I was looking at my notes.
I
So.
always say what you said. So in the beginning,
No.
I never expect people to make money right away. If we do, great.
Hmm.
If we don't, that's okay too. I just recently had an ads client for a month. We did a kind of a trial run to see if I could make what he was doing any better. And we'd both come into this relationship of doing a 1 month trial for Pinterest ads together.
Mm.
Like that was a decision we made together. I don't normally do situations like that. But I was happy to do it while he was busy off doing other things. So in the month that we worked together, prior to us working together, he got 3 sales right after turning his ads on. So it was almost like a fluke.
Mm.
We were trying to figure out if it was a fluke or if this was actually going to work.
Hmm.
And then I start running ads for the next month and we get another 3 to 4 sales, but it wasn't even break even.
Hmm.
So, out of all the testing of all the different landing pages and all the different creative types and all the different messaging, we really hadn't found anything better than what they were already doing on Meta. And if that's the case, take your money back to Meta,
Hmm.
but don't expect an immediate cash injection in your business by turning on Pinterest ads because someone tells you that's what's going to happen.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Important to know. So it's really a process of, like I said, like giving it a try, running the ads for a couple of weeks, looking at the data, switching out creative, maybe different targeting audience and doing one of those things at a time to kind of try to test. And I know Pinterest has a lot of good tools built into their ad manager to help you test. It's not like you have to like crunch the data literally and do math on your own.
Yeah.
But looking at those different things, finding something that converts, some people find something that converts and brings them profit, and some people don't. And it's just a question of like whether you are going to. And part of the whole process is learning if this is if you are going to, right? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
No, for sure.
I think, I mean, we've decided to start calling this show of ours Let's Get Real about online marketing. That's our new name for this show instead of just the Heather and Jana show.
Woo!
So, in the name of like let's get real, like let's make sure people
Yeah,
understand that about ads, right? And that's really true about ads in general, but and that means online ads and it means, like billboard ads and ads on a bench in your town too. So
for sure. And
it's
I just got a
differentiating.
mailer in from a plumbing
Dark
company in
mailer.
town,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm looking at the paper that came in this mailer. It was in an envelope. They had to stick a forever stamp on it. So they spent at least like 50 something cents on the stamp and then
Hmm.
on the envelope
Yep.
with the ink. And then this mailer that was on like fancy glossy paper. I used to work at Office Depot as an assistant manager for everyone in the room. Or listening. And let me tell you, this mailer, plus all the envelopes and the stamps, probably cost close to $2.50.
Yeah.
and they're mass mailing these out to people in Tucson. So, I mean, how many conversions do they have to get to make that profitable? And how long did they have to test this for?
Hmm.
And the company that they're using, do they make any guarantees? Which, by the way,
Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
ever.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So
It's ads
there's
in
just
general.
it's just
Hmm.
it's advertising in general, whether you're
Hmm.
doing the old school way, which
Yeah.
apparently businesses are still doing,
Hmm.
or the new school way,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. I
what I
mean,
do.
yeah, there's or a combination. Okay. All right, cool. I want to just pause for a second and say if there, for people who are joining us live and for anyone who's catching the replay, if you have any questions about ads that we haven't covered so far or we don't cover in the rest of this, please feel free to drop questions on this live for Heather. And then also, I would love to ask anyone who's joining on the replay or live now to just let us know, have you ever run a Pinterest ad? Have you ever spent even $1, just curious, or more on running a Pinterest ad? I'd be really curious to know if anyone
Got a
has tried
couple
it.
comments. I completely forgot that we were using Zoom today, and the comments weren't embedded in the platform. So
Oh, okay.
I'm over here
Cool.
now, guys. I can see your comments. So Lloyd says, I gave away a lot of money and no sales. Lloyd, I'd be interested to hear what platform you ran ads on. And then Gag Gamer says, Pinterest doesn't have an option at the start, only checkout and add a cart. No, you need more sales. Then why will you run ads on Pinterest? Anyways, I don't know because I wasn't watching when your comments came through. I don't know what
Hmm.
you were
What
talking
that
about
was
in
related
context.
specifically to, yeah.
But Pinterest does have a purchase option. It's not called purchase, it's called checkout.
Hmm.
So that is the purchase option comparative to Facebook.
Hmm.
And you can't actually, they've made a pretty hard rule for new accounts that are looking to run ads on Pinterest. If you don't have 50 conversions with a 771 conversion window, then you cannot run ads on whatever event you're trying to run ads on. So you have to keep that in mind. Like you actually have to have the conversions on your tag, which is why before you ever consider running Pinterest ads, you need to install your tag on your website. And I'm talking like as soon as you set up a Pinterest account and you start doing anything organically, go ahead and put your tag on because you may decide later on to have some ad strategy incorporated with your organic strategy. And if you don't have your tag and you're starting fresh and you're
Don't
just
have the
collecting
data.
data, it's going to take you longer.
Yeah. So, just to be super clear, people who are listening who are just curious, who are doing Pinterest organically right now, if you have absolutely any interest, like even a 1% chance that in the future you might run Pinterest ads 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever, you want to install your tag, right? So, do you
Yes.
have a resource for that, Heather? How would people learn how to do that?
There's a few videos here on the YouTube channel for installing your Pinterest tag, but it really just comes
On
down to what
your
you're
on your YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. It comes down to what campaign type you're running or what website type you have and then how you install it. So if you're Shopify, you just install the app and you're good to go. If you are Wix, there is an app for that. You can install it for Wix. There's also a catalog for Wix that you can use to install. For WooCommerce, there's an app for that, but sometimes it doesn't work very well. So I'm not even going to give you advice for WooCommerce. You're going to have to ask someone smarter than me. And
Yeah, there isn't
you know,
anyone,
for
but okay.
Squarespace,
Someone who knows more about that.
I'm pretty sure Squarespace, it's just connecting your Pinterest account, kind of like Shopify,
Mhm.
to Squarespace, and I think it installs. The only problem with Squarespace is some themes don't track and collect add to carts, which is problematic.
Mhm. I could see that being a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess the last question I want to ask you, unless there's anything else, you want to cover, Heather, you think is important for people to know, is really like how do you know you're ready for Pinterest ads? Or another way to ask the question is the title of this video, which is basically like, can Pinterest ads work for me? Like, what considerations do we need to think about if we're considering it? And how do we know that we're ready? And if there's a decent chance anyway of them working for our business?
There's a lot of tick boxes that I like to tick off when we're thinking about running ads of any kind for anybody.
Hmm.
The first is, does your product, service, offer, free offer, lead magnet, funnel product, whatever, convert organically?
Yep.
Because if it's not converting organically, it's probably not going to convert with ads.
Right. Like ads aren't going to fix a bad offer, basically.
No.
Right. Just to
And
be
sometimes
straightforward about
ads,
it.
even if you are converting organically,
Yeah.
Ads are also not going to work for you.
Hmm.
There are considerations and cases for that happening as well. So you
Sure.
just kind of have to know the audience and the reason why they're buying. And if they see it on an ad, is this really something that they would purchase through an ad?
Hmm.
The next consideration that I would make is, are you willing to invest 3 months of ad spend with no return?
Yep.
If yes, please continue.
Hmm.
If
And
no, stop now.
right. And the reason why is because you need to be willing to do that to find what will work at after that 3 month mark, like the or whatever that mark is going to be for you, right? It's like, are you
Mhm.
willing to invest in order to find out if this will work for you, right?
Yeah. Now back to the conversions
Mhm.
conversation, because I've had a lot of e-commerce clients come to me. They're running ads on other platforms. They're converting for other platforms, but then we get to Pinterest, kind of like the client I just told you about, I ran ads for a month.
Mhm.
Um, we had, an additional 4 sales or whatever, but at the end of the day, we decided that he needs to spend his money on Facebook.
Mhm.
So it could be a platform and an audience thing where your landing pages or whatever work for one platform, but they're not working for another. And Pinterest pinners are a very different audience from Facebook users. We have
Mhm.
trained Pinterest users since the very beginning to read blog posts, to read landing pages, to read sales pages. They want detail, detail, detail. And
Mhm.
your very short snippet on an e-commerce product listing page, if not expanded and detailed, may turn Pinterest buyers off
Mhm. Yeah.
because there's not enough there for them to know if this is going to be the right product for them.
Yep.
So what works for one platform might not work for another. And I always
Mhm.
give people that kind of insight.
Mhm.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
be willing to set up new landing pages, new sales pages, be
Yep.
willing to pay for tools to collect data like Hotjar, and be willing to, invest in good copywriting if that is what you need to do in order to continue to scale your offer, whatever it is. So that's kind of the gist of it. Now, another thing that I would say is, if you are not consistently making money in your business,
Mhm.
I don't know that I would um, encourage you to spend money on ads. Please do
Mhm.
not put ad spend on a credit card. If you don't have the money in the bank to spend on ads, please don't spend money on ads,
Mhm.
because I've seen it happen way too many times. I'd rather you, take it a little slower and make sales organically and actually be able to feed your family than have credit card debt.
Yep. Yeah. That's a really good ad.
So,
Good ad. ADD. Yep. Okay, cool. So the three I heard you say are basically, you're ready if you're already converting organically. And that is related to the last thing you said, which is like, we don't want you going out on a limb and spending money that you don't have, right? And it's also related to the number two one, which is you're willing to spend 3 months paying for ads without seeing a return on investment, because that might happen, right? It might
oh yeah.
happen that happens and you don't. It also could happen that during that 3 months, you do start to see a ROAS that's profitable. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that. We're not saying that it never
Yeah.
happens. Um, and then you need to be willing to like update your landing pages and your product descriptions and your funnel pieces, whatever is needed in there to make sure you're really appealing to the Pinterest audience, because what works for Facebook ads in terms of the funnel might not work exactly the same way for Pinterest, because the Pinterest audience is different and has different expectations and behaviors and things like that.
Yeah.
So all that being said, I do want to ask you, like, if you are ready and you try it and you invest that time and obviously that money into doing it, what's possible? Like, like I want to make sure we're clear that like the reason we run ads is because sometimes you get great results, right? So what
Yeah.
kinds of great results are possible?
I have a couple things I want to add because they came up
Okay.
in my mind just
Yeah,
before we move on to that
sure.
question. So Lloyd and Gag Gamer came back and said, the I run $100 and it does not seem to be working. The same creatives are doing really
Mhm.
well on Meta, and that's the correlation we're trying to make here. Is what works on
Mhm.
Meta might not work on Pinterest. So if you are noticing that creatives are working on Pinterest or Meta and not Pinterest, then I would look and do some research on Pinterest to figure out what kind of pins are already showing up in your space. What do the headlines look like? What do the calls to action look like? Because they're not the same platform.
Mhm.
Creative type wise, they're not the same.
Hmm.
And then Lloyd says they spent $300 in a month and no sales. So something that I see often with people saying, I'm spending money on Pinterest ads, but I'm not getting any sales. When I ask them what business they run and what their business type is, most of them tell me they're drop shippers. And I don't work with drop shippers for Pinterest ads ever because they don't have a tight relationship with the product they're buying and the customer that they're selling to and why the customer would want to buy the product in the first place. So
And
I'm not
so
saying that's what Lloyd is doing or Gag Gamer is doing or Ramona is doing in the chat, but I'm just saying that that is something that I have had come through my doors. It is a common thing that I see, and it's one of the reasons why I do not work with dropshippers.
So just to connect the dots here, this is very much related to number one in your list of like ways to know you're ready or ways to know like what you need in place before you should try ads is the converting organically thing. Because I think what you're saying is that sometimes drop shippers, almost always, they don't understand the product and the people who buy the product and the problems that the product solves closely enough to really do the right, to have the knowledge they need to do the targeting and also to create the creative properly, right? So it's like they don't have like the messaging down for the product is
Yeah,
kind of like the marketing lingo there. Is that right?
yeah. And
Hmm.
when it comes to a platform like Pinterest, where pinners are planners and they're really, really particular about what they're buying, the drop shipping strategies are really built for
Hmm.
meta and meta ads. So a lot of
Oh, I see.
these
Okay. Got it.
sellers, while they may be making bank on Facebook
Yep.
or Instagram ads, that might not translate over to Pinterest, which is that
Got
kind
it.
of
So that's why
correlation
you're
between the platform difference.
right. That's why you're hearing that so much because there is a
Yes.
success path on Facebook, but it's different on Pinterest. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. And then Lloyd followed up and said they're using Etsy. And Gag Gamer says we're a small pet store brand.
Oh, cool.
That's
Okay.
fantastic. I guess it just depends on what kind of product you're selling. I've had one failure for pet store brand, and I've had one pet store brand that absolutely killed it.
Hmm.
So I've seen both sides
Hmm.
of that kind of niche gag. So
Be
I think
interesting
it
to
just,
do like to do one of these lives or some kind of content about comparing and contrasting those two case studies.
well, I can tell you the one that did really well is a
Hmm.
need. It was a
Hmm.
need, and the one
Hmm.
that didn't do well is a nice to have
Hmm. Okay,
product.
that's kind of the Reader's Digest version of the compare and contrast.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
The other thing that Lloyd said is that they're promoting to the Etsy platform. It's really difficult to promote to platforms where you have no insight because you can't install a pixel. So the only ads you can run are consideration. So your listings and your images, they have to carry the ship.
Hmm.
So it has to be really good.
Okay.
And you have to really know why someone needs this product. And then Gag Gamer, I'm just gonna answer these last two questions and then we're gonna move on to the results.
Okay, and
So
then I
Gag
had
Gamer
another question
says,
for you too.
what do
Okay,
you test in 3 months? Interest, creative, age group. Can you clarify? Yes. So I start off by testing
good question.
audiences. Month one, we're really testing audiences. And I want to remind everyone listening that the ideal budget to start with is 2.5 times your average order value. So if your average order value is $50, times that by 2.5, whatever that makes it, Jana.
Well, that would
51,
be
$150.
125, but per what? Per $125 a day or
Yeah,
a week? A day.
a day.
A day. Right.
Yeah, and sometimes we can get started a little lower than that, but these days your platform competition is higher. And if you're
Hmm.
in a really busy niche, then it might be required that you need to spend a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind too. If your ad spend is too low, you're just not going to see results as quickly. And then, so once we figure out audience, then we're moving on to creative, but the creative is and audience are kind of happening at the same time.
Because you need creative
Is
for an
this
ad.
audience going to promote, like going to work with this audience?
Hmm.
And then we're starting to move out from there. So if it worked on this one, can we add in another product? Will it work with this one? And then what about demographics? Demographics are happening kind of alongside all of that as well.
Okay.
I have to get one campaign to work before I can try to get another campaign to work because if I can't get one to work, then why are we wasting your money on multiple different campaigns? So unless you have the money to spend to test and you're not looking to get anything in return right away, then we can run multiple campaigns. I don't like to bulk together all the ad groups in one campaign because Pinterest will favor one over the other and it'll never serve the other ones.
Mm.
So your A/B testing should happen on a campaign level. So I always start with like this product. We're going to start with this product and we can do a couple campaigns for this product to see if videos or images are going to work. But all the targeting and everything else is the same.
Okay.
So, Guy Gamer, I hope that makes sense. That's what I'm looking to do in those first 3 months. Then
Yeah, that
Ramona
was a really
says,
good answer.
I'm so new to marketing for my business. Conversations are fun, and I'm just beginning my learning journey. Ramona, welcome.
We're so glad you're here. This is
And then
a
our
great
other
channel to hang out
Jana,
on.
our other Jana's come back.
Oh, Jana from my
Two
my
World
neighbor.
Art.
Yeah, she's my neighbor. She actually lives in my town and has my name. I mean, I have her name. Hey, Jana, it's been so long.
She says, once I have a call with a person on Pinterest and they help me with an ad, off they went, and later my ad was rejected.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's a whole conversation, right?
so, and then she also says, I'm sorry, the stupid Tailwind thing is blocking my chat.
Oh, the
I gotta
the
turn it
plugin,
off.
the Chrome
It says,
extension.
I'm in a membership that teaches pattern design, and she does only Pinterest ads, and it's super satisfied. That's great. I love that you found someone that's in your industry that knows Pinterest that can help you. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, really good.
Okay, what was your question? And then let's move on to results.
I had someone ask me about affiliate marketing and using ads on Pinterest for affiliate marketing. What do you want to
Yes.
share about that?
I hate it, to be quite honest.
Uh, let's
Because
get
you
real.
don't, again, you don't have control over the end product
Mhm,
or the goal and the messaging and the tracking and the website pixels and all of that stuff. So if you're going to do affiliate marketing ads, and I'm not talking to anyone selling physical products right now because I don't even want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. If you are selling affiliate
meaning
products,
affiliate for physical products. You don't want to touch
correct.
affiliate ads to affiliate links for physical products. Okay, just to be clear.
Nope. I if you are in a niche similar to what Jana and I are in, where you can do SaaS products, so like you can promote Tailwind or Notion or ClickUp or like the tools that you use, those are really successful in my space.
Mhm,
Um, run ads to an affiliate funnel that you create and you own the assets for.
mhm,
And you give them a reason to purchase that thing because you then gave them all this education around the tool. It's how I sell affiliates for Tailwind and Rank IQ. I've been making quite a few commissions off Rank IQ after I put that video out and I sent an email to my list. I'm teaching people how to use the tool and giving them a reason to buy it.
mhm,
So in that case, I could set up a blog post after the Rank IQ blog post is ready. I could publish that blog post and run ads to it.
mhm,
I have pixels. I have custom links in the blogs, and ultimately I have control over where people are landing.
mhm,
So if you're in the beginning stages of your journey, going back to those tick boxes, if you're not making money, if you're putting ads on a credit card, you probably shouldn't be running ads to affiliate products.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. I'm glad that we mentioned it. There's more to say, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go around to results. We've
Yeah.
obviously talked about the fact that you have to be ready for ads, you have to be willing to, try things. There's all these things that, that we've talked about that give you a little bit of pause, but it is worth it for some businesses to run ads and get to the point where they do find ads that are profitable for them. So what is possible?
Yeah. So I've run ads for two companies that are in a very similar space.
Mm,
They're both physical product sellers and they both just absolutely kill it. One of them is the one I'm consulting on, and the other one's no longer a client because they took everything in-house.
mhm,
So I ran their ads for about 9 months and then they took
mhm,
everything in-house to save
mhm.
money.
Yep,
Um,
which is fine.
so the one that I used to run ads for and they're doing it in-house now, We spent $2,500 in a month and made like $75,000
Oh
on their
my
ads.
God. Whoa, okay.
That's like a unicorn.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably
yeah.
won't happen again.
Right, right, right.
It's just a product that people love and people
Yep,
want it. And
yep,
they love aesthetic, pleasing, beautiful things. And
yep.
it's
So
in
it
the home
goes,
decor and interior space. So
okay.
it's a big popular niche on Pinterest. The product fits the platform. The
Mhm.
audience is there and willing to buy.
So it goes back to number one, like they already knew they were converting organically and they were just pouring fuel on that fire. And that's exactly what they did. They poured fuel on it. The fire went crazy, $75,000. Amazing ROAS. Okay.
Amazing ROAS.
Hmm.
I'm not even going to try to do the math.
Yeah.
The one that I'm consulting on, which is in a very similar space,
Hmm.
not the same product, but a very similar space.
Interesting.
Um, I'm just looking at last 30 days for them, and we have a 9.43 ROAS. So
Wow.
just for context, we've spent $1,600
Yep.
and we've made 15,844,
So roughly 9% of nine, sorry, 9 times the amount that you invested.
just over nine. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
That client is super happy with that.
Yeah. How about for digital products? Do
Digital
you,
products. Great question. I consistently run ads for my own digital products.
right?
So I think it depends on how you want um, well, first of all, how best your funnel converts
Yep.
in your ecosystem. Does it convert right away on sales page offers, or do you need to get people in your email list and then buying?
Yep.
I'm in the latter.
Okay.
I do
Yep.
lead magnet, like lead generation ads, and then I sell people into the digital products in my email. So my
Yep.
ROAS is healthy.
Hmm.
It might take me 2, 3 months to fully break even on every single lead,
Hmm.
but I know once they get in, I'm going to be profitable.
Right. So you're running ads not to sell the digital product directly, but running ads to get them on your email list. And
Yeah.
once they're in the email list, the people who came in through these particular ads are going through a funnel with the goal of selling that digital product.
Yes.
Right. And
So
I don't think we talked about that much in this. So I think that's a good addition. Like sometimes when you're running an ad, you're not looking to just sell your thing. You're looking to get people into
build
that
a
converting funnel, right?
relationship.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
building
All right.
relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for a client of mine I'm looking at right now, this is the client I've been running ads for these digital products, which you print, by the way, and then you put up in your classroom. So it
Oh
turns
yeah.
into a physical product.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
it's a digital product start, but we've spent $2,152 in the last 30 days and we've made 14,771. So it's a
Okay.
6.8 return on ad spend.
Right. ROAS.
And we are
Nice.
running truly full funnel for this client. So I'm running blog post ads and those don't break even. I'm running lead generation ads and those during launches do make money. Like the ROAS on just that campaign is 2.59 for the last 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, that campaign never is profitable unless we are in launch, and we are in launch right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the other campaigns are all anywhere from a 6.5 to 11 and a
Okay.
half
Okay.
return on
So
ad spend.
I know we need to wrap up, but for those two that you're running, the two parts of that full funnel ads that aren't profitable, so to speak, why are you still running them?
Because we're building audience and we're
Okay.
generating
That's what I
leads
figured.
to the list.
Yeah.
So we have her top blog posts on her website that convert to sales
Yep.
and convert to repeat buyers in
Mm-hmm.
the blog post campaign. That's the one that's not even profitable right now when we're in
Mm-hmm.
launch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine because it's generating leads too. And
Yep.
then the lead generation campaign, that is just to get people on her email list. So when she does launch, then they buy.
Right.
So
Yep.
it's profitable right now, but once we come out of launch season,
Mm-hmm.
the profit margins will drop off. And I
Mm-hmm.
do decrease the budgets on those when we're not in launch season. So we have
Mm-hmm.
a few high seasons for this client. Right now is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But come August, we will completely gut the budgets from
Mm-hmm.
like I'm spending $3,500 this month. We will gut the budgets down to $1,000 for
Mm-hmm.
August and
For a
September.
period. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, there's so much to cover when it comes to ads. We might do a part two if we have enough questions and people let us know that they
Sure.
want to learn more.
I think
Um,
we should do a live just for digital product sellers.
yeah, I think that would be good. So running Pinterest ads for digital product sellers. Is that
Yeah.
what you're thinking? Yeah,
Yes.
cool. If anyone who's listening thinks that's a great idea and would love to have us do a live on that, we would love to have you let us know.
Jana has a great follow-up question right before we close this out. She says, what's the
Sure.
target for conversions off the examples that Heather gave? I'm going to kind of fill that in with the digital product seller that I was just talking about because I don't know when your question came in, Jenna, but the target is always going to be based off your cost of goods sold. So if your cost of goods sold, obviously for digital product sellers, your margins are a lot smaller or a lot bigger, I mean. And then for physical product sellers, your margins are a lot smaller because you have more cost. So you always need to base it off of your cost of goods sold. So never, never, never just say, oh, a one ROAS is profitable or a two ROAS is profitable. Always do the math and figure out exactly what your return on ad spend needs to be. So the target for conversions for this client is a 2.5 return on ad spend. As long as we have a baseline of 2.5, we are super profitable. Whereas the other example I gave Jana of the physical product seller I'm consulting on with like the 15,000 in sales in the last 30 days or whatever, their baseline ROAS is 4.5 to be profitable. So you can kind of see the difference.
Cool.
Okay.
I was in our document adding that idea to our list of potential future live
Well,
streams.
next week we
What are
are
you doing
back
next
again.
week? Yeah.
I don't know. What are you doing next week?
I mean, what are we talking about next week? I always forget to check before we
I'm
end up
chatting
asking
with
this at
you
the end
next
of.
week.
What are you going
Next
to be
week,
doing next Wednesday at noon Eastern time? Well, the answer to that is always you're going to be tuning in to the Heather and Jana show, which we do every week, Wednesdays at noon Eastern time.
let's get real.
Let's get real about online marketing.
Next week we are getting real about if we had 2 hours a week for content creation, what would we do?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited about that one actually. So like
Mhm.
theoretically, if Heather and I, if someone said to us, from now on you can only spend 2 hours a week on content, yeah, on your content strategy, what would you do?
Yeah,
That's what we're going to talk about. That'll be a good one. I'm
I
excited.
think so. I hope
Yeah,
you guys come and chit chat with us next week, because you can't run a successful business in our opinion if you don't have some sort of content. So
right.
come chit chat with us about
Not
content.
online, not online anyway, right?
No,
Online, like content is basically like if you run an online business, you don't have like a storefront where people can like walk by and be like, "Oh, I like those shoes, I'll go in."
physical product sellers are doing content too. I mean, you see ads
Hmm.
for products on TV and on YouTube.
Right, that's true. Yeah. Yep.
Everyone's
So,
creating content.
content is queen.
Content is queen, and we're talking about it next week, June 12th at noon Eastern time.
Okay.
Come and chat with us,
See you then.
and we will see you then. I don't know how to hang on. I gotta get in here so I can
No,
close
you
this
hang
out.
up first. No, no, you hang up first. No,
No,
you hang
you
up
hang
first.
up.
No, you hang up first. You do it. You hang up first.
We're out. Okay, Zoom is so much better. It's so superior.